is the Mazda 2. I reckon it is the best all-round small car you can get on the market today. It's very well engineered, it looks fantastic, is packed full of stuff and has the safety package from a much more expensive car. This is the 2020 Mazda 2, and as Mazda is not keen on doing big updates, that means lots of little things. There's new headlights, and they're only a little bit different. There's a new grille, really cool 3D thing, and there are new wheels. And Mazda has done something that pleases me very much. This chrome blade thing now goes right to the edge of the headlights, so it makes it look a little bit wider. So, you know, stance, bruh. For more searing insight like that, make sure you read my full review on carsguide.com.au. The link is in the description, and I absolutely promise the phrase stance bra is not in it. Also, if you like these videos, click like, hit subscribe and the bell button so that you don't miss a single thing from the CarsGuide YouTube channel. Also for 2020, Mazda has changed the naming convention. So where before you could get the Mazda 2 Neo, the Genki and the Max, not necessarily in that order, you now get the Pure, the Evolve and the GT. This is the top of the range GT, but they've all got the same engine, the 1.5 litre 4-cylinder.
It now has 82 kilowatts, and while that's only 1 extra kilowatt, it has 5 more newton meters of torque. And that's good. Even better, Mazda also says it has lower emissions.
This is the top of the range, the GT, at $25,990. That's quite a lot of money for a little car. You can't even get a Mazda 2 for under 21 grand anymore, and that's a manual Pure. Anyway, up here in the top end, you've got this really nice leather steering wheel. It's from all the other Mazdas. I really like this wheel. It's just the right size. Dual zone climate control, MZD Connect, it is the old version. It's not the tricky new one from the CX-30 and the 3. Look, it's fine. It's also got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it has sat-nav. You've got this funky little heads-up display, which folds up in front of you, very clever, and it's got new graphics on it. The old one was very hard on the eyes, but that was a while ago now. You've got this blue leather, which I'm not a huge fan of, but you've got the synthetic suede to stop you sliding around. If you just catch it in the corner of your eye in the back seat, it looks like someone very wet has been sitting in the back, so that's been very confusing today. You've got air vents everywhere, 2 cup holders, and somewhere to put your phone with 2 USB ports and a 12 volt. So there's a lot of stuff in here. Let's have a look in the back. Here in the back, it's not so great. As you can see, it's a little bit of a contortion to get in. Not huge, but that's quite a small space to get yourself in. If you've got dicky knees or dicky hips, it might be a little bit tricky. Now, I'm behind where I drive. I'm about 180 centimeters tall, and I'm just touching the back, but it is soft, so you haven't got a hard surface that you're hard up against, and I can get my feet under here. It's not uncomfortable, but it's very snug. You know, that's high, so there's not a lot of glass. Small children might feel a little bit lost, you know, down here in the depths. There's no storage except for this map pocket, and you know, you can reach this tray. There's no armrest, nowhere to put a bottle. It's a bit lonely actually, but you know, it's such a small car, you can actually reach the cup holders there, so you can swipe a drink from the driver without them even knowing. But yeah, short trips only. The boot is predictably tiny at 270 litres. Now, that's not tiny, but it's not very big. You've also got to remember that the loading lip is actually quite a lot higher than the boot floor, so you kind of have to hoist things over it. There's no fancy false boot floor. And when you fold the seats down, it's not flat, so you're not going to be able to get any IKEA home in this car. Having said that, I did get 3 bin bags, like big bin bags full of clothes in here, and it shut just fine. I really like small cars, but I really like driving the Mazda 2, and there is a couple of reasons why I like that. Partly because we drive so many SUVs, getting into a small car is like, oh, it's little, it fits down side streets, it's really good. But Mazdas in particular, and obviously the Mazda 2, have this tricky thing called G-vectoring control. And in the Mazda 2, they've also got the Plus version. So what G-vectoring does is when you're coming up to a corner, it detects that you've turned the wheel, and it does this little thing that race drivers do. It does a little lift of the throttle, which means that the weight just subtly shifts forward and you feel like you've got more grip going through the corner. And that, it doesn't mean much to the average driver, but you can feel it. You feel that extra bite through the front wheels, and it just makes you feel a little bit more confident in what's happening. And I really like that. And with the Plus version, it's got torque vectoring. So a lot of cars have this. So when you are coming out of the corner and you've given it a little bit too much throttle, it just means that the brakes just nip that wheel that might be about to spin or is actually spinning, and just gives you, again, more grip and confidence coming out of the corner. And again, most buyers aren't really going to care, but if you know it's there, you can really feel it. And it's just a really nice feature that makes the car more fun to drive. But it also means that when you turn the wheel, it happens. It does. A lot of small cars, they're really soft when you turn the wheel, and you're kind of like, oh, but this turns like a hot hatch, which is one of the reasons I really like it. But you don't have all the hassles of a hot hatch, which is, you know, the cops chasing you and other people trying to race you at the lights. It's not a fast car. The 1.5 litre engine, it doesn't have a lot of power. It's, you know, the torque figure's not bad for a little 1.5 naturally aspirated. So it's not characterful, it's not fast, but it's just enough to get it going, and you can have a little bit of fun while you're driving around. It also rides really well for a small car, although the ghost of Mazda 2's past still haunts the car. It's a bit clunky, bumpy, like you hear it rather than feel it, but it would be nice if it was just a little bit more damped. But really, I'm starting to pick nits here. It's a really good car to drive. The steering's great, the brakes feel really good, whether you're in town or out in the country. This is a car I'd quite happily drive long distances outside of the city. It's not just a city car, it's quite accomplished, it's reasonably quiet in the cruise. So you're kind of getting the vibe that this is really good for a small car and a really good small car. They don't really make small cars like this. At least not until you're in an Audi. The other thing that's really cool about this is all the safety gear. You've got front AEB, you've got rear AEB, you've got collision warnings, you've got blind spots, and it's got everything. So if you hit something in this car, that's on you. So as you can tell, the changes for 2020 aren't very big at all, because the Mazda 2 was already a really good car. It has plenty of safety, it's got plenty of gear. It does cost a lot of money though, so you don't really need to spend all the money on the GT. The Pure or the Evolve have already got everything you need.